Parlay Pick, man, what's happening?
Happy Election Tuesday, AC Lee. We're doing good. How are you doing?
Man, not too bad. I wish I would have brought my sticker. My sticker's in the truck. I probably should have brought it in just to let the world know that I
Oh, wait,
voted.
you voted early though,
I did.
so you were
And
one of the record-breaking 81 million that participated in early voting. How was that experience though? Seriously.
I love early voting. It's the easiest in and out.
So did you? So it was the same thing. You just went up. You didn't mail it. You didn't do anything. You didn't drop it in a box. It was just like voting today, but just
Yeah.
another day.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I knew a lot of the poll workers, and I assumed they had an assumption of what I filled out on my ballot.
Where do you poll at?
This year I did the Cartersville Civic Center. So we have two early voting locations, the Civic Center and like the old DMV. I don't know what else they do there now, but it used to be the DMV. So I went to the Civic Center just because it was closer to where I was physically at the day I decided that I was going to let my voice be heard. That the ancestors.
And let me tell you, that's what when I was asked about this earlier, and we'll get into the story. That's exactly what I said. I said, look, I exercise my right, and completed a civic duty that I feel like is necessary in today's society. But
I came across a Facebook post today that said you can tell who paid attention in civics class. I'm like, what does that mean?
Here's the thing too. A lot of people don't realistically, because I'll tell you, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm one of them. I recognize this. There are definitely issues that I'm very much so rooted in. Small business owner. There's just a lot of different stuff that like I pay attention to, and laws and stuff that like affect. Like now, I've got quite a bit of crypto. Like there's like little stuff that I pay attention to because I have to. Like I have to, even if I don't want to, I have to. And yeah, this is an election. And of course, I bet money on this election. Surprise, surprise. Parlay Pete's got money on the election. But I bet money on this election. And so like I'm very anxious to see what happens. I'm not going to tell everybody my vote bet, but what I am going to say is I did bet a decent amount of money on Pennsylvania being the closest state in terms of percentage points. They were plus 300. I put $2,000 on it, so I will win $6,000 if Pennsylvania is in fact the closest state, which I think it will be. So
here's something.
And I also hold on, and shout outs to everybody watching, because if you voted, I bet on you guys too. I bet on everybody to get out and vote, and that this would be the highest voter turnout in U.S. history.
Oh, I love to hear it. So something I know about you is that when you're not betting on the Falcons, you'll bet with your head and not your heart.
Correct.
Did your bet align with your vote?
It did.
Okay, so this guy chose a winner.
It did. And let me tell you, I think it's because of how everything's played out the last 8 years. Notice I didn't say last 4, last 8 years. I think that the last 8 years tell a story. And if you look at what CNN even is saying, and it's not CNN's fake news, right? Apparently, but
depends on who you ask.
Right. Apparently, keyword apparently. But one of the things that I noticed probably that was the biggest like indicator of the direction this was headed in is how everybody felt about the President Biden. I think that should tell everybody what direction this is headed in, just in a sense of not that everybody aligns Harris and Walz with Biden, but it's really going to be a matter of how much do people really hate Donald Trump. I think will kind of determine this election. If you believe that Donald Trump is hated immensely, Harris should win. Like, I don't even think it'll be close if that is the case. But if you think that people align Harris and Walz together with Biden, Donald Trump's probably going to win.
Here's two things, right? I think there's a lot of people who will publicly hate Donald Trump and privately vote for him, for one.
I think that's true too, because you don't have to be a MAGA wearing, showing up at rallies to be somebody that necessarily supports him as the pick for president, and vice versa with Harris too. You don't necessarily have to go to it, and you could be a raging Republican and be like, man, I don't trust this dude. and you can vote Harris. Like, so there's closets on both sides.
And here's the one thing that I wish we could do in politics. You know how, say, if the assistant coach becomes the interim and then he gets the head job, he goes and cleans house.
Yeah.
I wish in campaigning, Harris had the opportunity to clean house in the sense of saying, hey, Joe's doing a lot of stuff I didn't really rock with, but that's my boss, so I had to fall in line. I privately pushed back, but publicly, I can't say that.
Because I'm a part of his staff.
Yeah, when he asked me to do this and I did it, and y'all are kicking my back in for it, I wish I could have told y'all how I truly feel. And that's the one misleading thing about the election that bothered me personally, is that you're acting like she was the front person, she was the leader.
No, she wasn't.
And he was the puppet master.
Well, they had to pivot. That was kind of my thought with them, because how do you pivot? You've been campaigning for like a year, and like then literally 3 months before the election, like they switch out who it is. Now, granted, it's the same ticket, but it isn't the same person.
And that pivot should tell you that there is a lack of alignment between the two of them. That's just common sense. That's not politics. That's not me speaking to who I voted for. And I understand what I'm saying actually sounds pretty pro Harris. And
but I thought it spoke more to his health more than anything. Like, I thought that was the one thing. I don't think he would have dropped out if people didn't think that he was really Sleepy Joe. Like, like he was being called Sleepy Joe for a reason, and it was starting to show.
Absolutely, and yeah, here's the thing I'll say.
I don't think he dropped out because his ass was getting kicked in the polls. I think that was a part of it. I think he dropped out because it was clear something is up with this dude. Like,
if it were up to him, I'd be looking at his face right now, winning the state of Maryland and winning DC. If it were up to him,
because there's certain states he was going to win certain that, like just like California, like Lib Josh. It's crazy to say somebody's vote doesn't matter, but I think because we're in such a battleground state, like knowing now it's like Georgia's a battleground state, like our votes mattered. This vote really is about to count.
I'll tell you what, man. If I told some people the direction that I went in any part of my life, I'd catch flack. Not from my friends who understand me, but from the pieces of either side. And I just think presidential elections are so funny because, you'll have people say this is the most important election of your life. No, it's not. You have, like, I saw one chick post. This may offend some people, but I voted for Trump because I care about women's rights. And I've seen people on the other side say I support Harris because I care about women's rights.
Right. And that's like the juxtapose, right? Like it's one of those things where it depends on how you want to look at this thing. Like, that is what makes it so fascinating. And every 4 years, although it should really be every year, because there's an election of some sort every year. And it's funny, I was talking to a lady at the polling place, just a quick story about that. Like, so I voted Stevenson Middle School, which is where I went to middle school. So for me, it's always refreshing to go back to a place that I went to school, and like I'm so far removed from that, so I get to see how it's changed when I go in. Not much has changed, but point is, they had changed it. The last election, it was in the cafeteria. This one's in the gym, but the one before it was in the gym. So I'm like, what are y'all switching up every 4 years too? Or is that something that I'm supposed to look at in terms of with this election on who's going to win based on where y'all are even holding this in a weird way, like just by chance? But like, either way, I got out early because me and my dad went together, and
that's cute.
Yeah, father son vote. But we went and I got out first. So I'm talking to the lady that's like directing traffic or whatever. There was no traffic, by the way. Matter of fact, put it this way. I was the 436th person to vote at my location. And I voted at about I voted at like 4:35 in between that time frame. And so
the East Siders don't care about their government, what you're telling me.
Well, there could have been a ton of people that early voted. I'll say that. And then there's number two. I don't know how many, because they used to do it at the high school too.
Okay.
I don't think they do it. That just so happened to be my location. But the guy told me once I gave him the paper, he put it in. He said, "You're number 4 of this." He gave me 2 stickers. And, it's so funny with those guys too, poll workers, because they're looking, I guess that's how they get the straw count, maybe a little bit. To a degree, maybe kind of like that's kind of what they do. Cause I'm like, you clearly are looking down at my paper. You're not looking to make sure I'm putting it in correctly. You're looking at who I voted for. That's what you're looking for. And so, I enjoy it.
Hey, you know what? Let me tell you what. That's not a bad paying job for a day. When I was in high school,
probably like $300-$400, maybe $500.
I don't remember how much, but I just knew when I was a high schooler making minimum wage, I took off from work and I probably made a week's worth of my minimum wage back then. Working.
You worked an election, you're saying?
Yes.
That's what's up.
Man, look here. Huh?
Did they vote at Cass? Is that like a polling place?
No, it wasn't even at Cass. I was at some random gym. Look here, man. I take my civic responsibilities very, very seriously. And, you talked about kind of where you lean with your voting some. And I'll tell you, now in voting in my interest, I'm a veteran. I care about the VA.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. There are so many different factors that cause somebody to go in one direction.
Yeah.
We have daughters. So, to me, what women do with their bodies is an important part of this too. It's not just I'm a self-centered individual. I care about money. I do, but that doesn't mean I'm self-centered. I think about everything that goes into it. And for anyone to think too, that specifically 4 years, everybody has to really ask themselves, how much has their lives changed dramatically after an administration was in and out? There's a lot of complaining about America. And this is not showing my hand, but maybe it kind of is. But 12 of the last 16 years have been Democrat. So to say that those 4 years were that impactful versus the 12, that's crazy to think. You know what I mean? That's a wild way to look at this. You're telling me that there were 4 years out of the last 12 that have been or 4 years out of the last 16, rather, that have been more impactful than the 12. That sounds crazy.
But I'll push back on that a little bit because the pandemic.
That's a wrench, but both of them share kind of both of it.
The pandemic
more on Biden, but
the pandemic puts a wrench in so much stuff that you cannot accurately analyze how partisan politics affected our way of life, because we are still dealing with the after effects of the pandemic. And one of the other things I was going to talk about, I care about government. I care about state spending. Why? Because I work in construction and we do state jobs. So when the government has more money to spend on making the world better, that means we have more jobs to go after.
Yeah.
Which then allows my company to make more money, which allows them to pay me more. Okay. So that matters to me. But then I also care about small businesses because I work for a small business.
But private sector, right? That's something you care about.
But I care about private sector, but I still have to care about public sector because we do public work, But at the same time, our private work in construction has slowed down because of the interest rates, and the interest rates are messed up by inflation, and inflation is in part caused by the pandemic and the economy, and not just policy. An extreme event happened. Yeah. So all of these things matter. And I think here, probably Pete, I didn't want to do this, but we're here.
Yeah.
The people who are like waving the flag for a particular candidate or a particular party, specifically you who are like after a candidate, pro one or anti one, like to the umpteenth degree, y'all are ignorant. Y'all are ignorant and y'all don't understand the way that this government works. I promise you, one president does not shape the direction of the majority of the policies that affect you. Are there one of these twos? Hey, if you are Palestinian in America and you don't like the direction that America is going in the war over there in Israel and Gaza, that is an issue that you can point at the head man or head lady.
The only thing you're really voting on is the face. That's the reality. And of course, that's the head. That's the head of the executive branch, but you still have the judicial and the legislative. So it's just like,
and that's the stuff that's most important. Like,
you literally one cannot, like, and this is not like me saying President Trump, but even this Project 2025 thing, he can't do that shit. Yeah, let's say that that's his plan, literally. He can't even do it if he wanted to, because that's why those other branches are there, because it can prevent one from the other, no matter what. And I think that, especially in his case, from a Republican standpoint, like, there are Republicans that, whether they vote for him or not, like, that are opposed to like certain, like, there are ones that are just like, no, you can't do that. Like,
hey, and Parlay Pete, you know that because the thing that has most people up in arms is the immunity for police. We do know that the way police conduct is handled is at the state and local level, right? It's not a federal thing. Policing is not federal.
I wish we had like a ticker. I mean, we do have a ticker, but I wish we had something that would like pop up like when I do this, right?
You're not on iPad. You don't get the thumbs up anymore.
Oh, that sucks. But basically just a projection. Well, not even projection, but betting odds favorite. Trump has moved up to -220. Harris is +180. So that has changed because it was initially -160 versus +130. So it's changed. Now, granted, there have been states that have been reported, but those are states that we already knew were going to win too. So I don't feel like that changed it. Something else is changing it. FYI too, somebody bet $30 million that Donald Trump was going to win. And my curiosity was, what do they know that I don't? But
you know, Texas is tied right now.
How much has been reported?
No, I don't know. And more importantly, I don't know what's been reported. I don't know if like Dallas and Houston and Austin have reported, but all the rest of bumblefuck Texas hasn't.
Like Abilene and Lubbock.
Yeah. You know, but
like Waycross, Georgia probably hasn't reported yet, you know? I'm just saying. They said a lot of like Cobb. I don't know. So CNN broke it down. Cobb, they're like, that was concerning what they saw. I wasn't even surprised in a weird way, but like they said what they saw was concerning because that was blue. And they're saying it looks red. Now, like I said, state's only done 10%. I mean, we're not going to know until tomorrow, regardless.
You know, I'm reading through the topics for my next pod, and we've got 8 to 12 minutes on YFN Lucci. Do you think I have 8 to 12 minutes of YFN Lucci in my life?
About what? About him getting out? Like,
I don't know, man. You know, we're it's a work in progress, man.
Hey, I am gonna bring you a bottle of this.
Hey, you should. And also, we should talk off mic about what we're gonna do for me turning 33. It's my who wore number 33? That's good. My Scotty Pippen. Oh, it's my Grant Hill year. Yeah, there we go.
Well, look, I know you said there's a little bit of out of town stuff going on. I'm just saying, I'm going to Denver. I don't know.
No, I'm staying because Chappelle's going to be in Atlanta on the 17th.
Oh, well, I know, yeah, because your birthday is a Monday, so
yeah. And I haven't seen Chappelle. I haven't seen
Chappelle recently.
You know, I saw the documentary, and he did like a mini set,
Yeah.
But I have not seen the Chappelle set and Chappelle after the election.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've got to see that. But as we cap off politics, which we didn't really plan on talking about, and we actually would have gave y'all an election recap, but we're here on Tuesday because my daughter's birthday is tomorrow, and
Happy birthday, Low.
Big Low, not the little one.
Yeah.
But I would kind of be a cock if I'm potting on my daughter's birthday and not spending the day with her. Well, spending my post-work.
Right. I promise you guys, this is not an election special. It really isn't. It just so happened to make more sense to probably do it today, even versus Thursday.
Yeah.
We got a good Thursday night game too. So like Ravens.
And I now that we don't record on Thursdays anymore, why the hell do we record on Thursdays? I like watching Thursday night football at home.
Yeah, me too. I mean, but I don't know. It just worked out schedule wise. Like
it did. I think we picked a day and we stuck with it.
But tell you the start of Friday, so it's like
it's much easier to be like hungover on a Friday going into work than it is on a fucking Wednesday or Thursday.
Correct.
Which is why we're drinking water today.
You're better than me, brother. You're better than me. I've got some Georgia's Own in here. Actually, on the bottle it says one hell of a pick, and so it is. It really is. This is a really good bottle of liquor. But
you want to tell your story that you were starting to tell when we started and we just never got to?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm on the east side of Atlanta, little town called Stonecrest. I was coming back from Atlanta.
Great mall.
All right, it used to be Lithonia, but anyone that knows, it's just the east side to me. Anywho, come back. I ordered some wings on my way back because I knew my dad wanted some food and my brother's here.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I got to cut you off. Ohio State is number 2 over Georgia in the first CSP.
Did they just – because I was watching it while they were doing it. Just now getting to 1 through 4. It took them an hour to do this.
Yeah, so Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, Miami 4, Texas 5, Penn State 6, Tennessee 7, Indiana 8, BYU 9, Notre Dame 10, Alabama 11, Boise State 12, SMU 13, A&M 14, LSU 15.
Well, the thing is, too, that number ain't even correct either, obviously, because 1 through 4 are going to be conference champions. So BYU would be the highest rated.
Are they Big 12?
They are Big 12. So they would be the 4, is what that tells me. Maybe they're projecting, obviously, Georgia would win the SEC. Ohio State won't be in there. They would be the 5. And now that Texas A&M lost, because see, if Texas A&M won and it's somebody else in the SEC.
Well,
they have this weird tiebreaker shit going on too.
They're set in Ohio
not playing the SEC championship type. It's that weird. Even if Georgia wins out,
they are setting Texas up. Excuse me, they're setting Ohio State up to be the 5, no matter what happens.
Yeah, because Oregon's gonna win the Big 12. They're gonna beat Indiana. Because let's say it's Indiana that they play, like they're gonna beat Indiana, or if maybe they'll play Ohio State again, and who knows? That would determine it. But even on a neutral field in Indianapolis, it would be more of a home game for Ohio State. But I think Oregon's better. I just think Oregon's better than them.
Same. And I know we're not here yet. Do you think Penn State beats Alabama?
No.
Okay.
Even in the current state of Alabama, I still think that they're a better football team. They struggle with you. Look, they struggle with USC. They beat USC in overtime. USC just benched Miller Moss, bro. I want you to just really think about this for a second. And that was one of their more high-profile games of the year so far. So,
the next person to get benched is the Kingster. Link?
Yeah, he's not getting fired this year. I think we can agree on that. Norville's going to get fired, and we'll get to that too later. But he's going to get fired.
Who?
Norville.
Oh God,
he's getting fired. He's getting fired. I'm gonna be honest with you. They could win out, and he's getting fired. They can score 50 points a game.
I think it would be disrespectful to call him DeMar Hamlin.
No, that's not disrespectful.
No, it's disrespectful to DeMar Hamlin.
No, he's a walking miracle.
I don't think
But Norville's not a walking miracle.
exactly.
He's dead man walking.
I don't think he's walking.
You think they've already chopped his legs from under him, and now it's just him bleeding out the rest of
You
the
remember? You remember those commercials that came on at 2 a.m. asking you for just $2 a day?
Actually, funny enough, I got a text message from Barack Obama. Let's see, at 6:53 p.m. Barack Obama, whatever you've done so far is not enough. Rush $20 to dim turnout 2024 before 9 p.m. Stop to end.
So they're stealing money.
I don't know. I don't understand. It could be a scam. I mean, I didn't click on the link, but I'm just saying that's what the text message says to me. I didn't click on the link, but that's what the text says. And I've gotten like 5 or 6 political text messages today. Funny enough, I got one from a particular party asking me to vote for their candidate. And I said, I voted for the other candidate. Thanks. And they said, got it. Thank you for your because sometimes they will respond. And so they did respond to mine. But yeah.
I'm about to send you a funny text. Let's get to your story because we're gonna keep just not getting to your story.
Here, yeah. So quickly, little town called Stonecrest, Georgia. Went and got some food. He does. He looks like, but anywho, ordered some wings. They weren't ready yet, so I sit at the bar. That's what you typically do. You don't want to sit in your car or do any of that other funny shit. So I just sat at the bar. I got a drink real quick, closed it out immediately. It was an open and shut tab, so it wasn't one of those. Oh, I'm about to be sitting here because my food should be done. They told me 5-10 minutes. So I'm sitting there. I got a double of tequila, and this woman just kind of comes up and sits next to me. She clearly had been there because she had a to-go box herself, or to-go bag. And she just starts talking to me. Black woman, probably mid-50s.
Was she hot?
I would not bang her. But actually mid to late 50s. Actually, she told me the year that she graduated FAMU. She went to FAMU, by the way. I guess let's throw that out there. She said 87. So my dad graduated in 88. So yeah, she's like 59, 58. 60. Like that's her age. Anywho, she gets a little touchy-feely. And I'm not the type that gets uncomfortable with it. I get uncomfortable when people are talking out loud in a public spaces. And so that's what she was doing. So from the time I'm being nice, like talking, cool, whatever. And then she notices my sticker here and that I executed my civic duties today.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, absolutely. I said, I wouldn't miss out on this for the world. I said, this is an important election. And so, we talk and, then she asked me who I voted for. And I don't necessarily, anyone that knows me personally knows exactly who I voted for. But I don't, even when speaking publicly to somebody, it's not because there's going to be so much cheer around who I voted for or backlash. It's more so because I just don't feel the need to share that with somebody, especially somebody I don't know. And so I said, you know who I voted for. So that could go a lot of different directions. You know who I voted for.
Yeah, you're HBCU alum.
Yeah. So she made an assumption. And from there, when she started, because then she called one of the candidates a bitch and basically said that they are not to be trusted. And, then I said, well, hold on.
They them or he, she?
They/them. And I'll leave that at that. And they, and then I said, well, hold on now. I said, how do you know I didn't vote for she, he? I said, I never told you who I voted for. I said, you should know. And then we went on to talk about it. She's talking loud, and there's a bartender that's wearing a candidate shirt at this bar that I'm at, the one that they're talking about, the they/them that they're talking about. And basically it makes me a little uncomfortable, not necessarily because like you're trying to expose A, who I voted for, but then B, it's just more so, why are you talking so loud? And you're clearly already drunk. And it's just like, and you're touching me. and I'm just waiting on my food to come out because it should have been done, and I'm already done with my drink. So now, JP calls me, and he wanted me to put in a bet for him for the election. And so I'm like, hold on. I said, I got a phone call. So I'm trying to like stall this conversation out with JP. I mean, I am throwing everything at him. I mean, he just wanted to put the bet in. And I'm like, man, how you doing today? I'm like, that's good, man. I was like, where you at? Like, niggas start just asking random questions. Because I'm just like, man, because she's just like kind of looking at me too. And then once I even get off the phone, I have to go to the bartender. And I'm like, hey, I was like, those wings. I was like, I got a text message that said that they were done. Now I had gotten that text message like 5 minutes before, but I told them I was at the bar. And then she's like searching, and I'm looking. I'm just like, yeah. I was like, it's Pierce Hodges. Like, I'm like throwing up my phone. I was like, I got the text probably about 7 or 8 minutes ago. Nobody's bought it out. And then they're like, oh, it's sitting up there at front. And then I looked up front. I saw it. I was just like, Fonda. I was like, it's nice to meet you. And I parlayed my ass on out of there is what I did. And it just, I don't know, man. It just.
Here's the thing. I don't publicly talk about. I don't publicly talk about my personal politics. I will talk politics.
People that know me know, though.
No. I'll talk about both sides. I'll play devil's advocate. We can have a great conversation publicly.
I voted both sides. So like it isn't, I tell you what, I am literally, and especially because of the state of Georgia, I am the definition of a swing voter. I'm a black male in Georgia. I am literally the definition of a swing voter.
Are you the definition of a swinger?
No, but I'm not married. So I can't be. I don't qualify.
So are you open to the idea of swinging?
No. When I get married, that's it.
Did you ever go to Swinging Richards on Northside?
Never. I've seen it. I make jokes about it all the time. It shut down, probably for good reason, but never. Same with Bulldogs. I've seen Bulldogs from across the street. I have a funny story. I've been to a gay club before. I know it's a wild thing to say on a podcast, but I've been to a gay club before.
I have too. I've actually been to gay clubs, gay bars multiple times. I used to go to brunch in the gay district in San Diego.
Somebody just chops this up. We would be so screwed. Like context before is just like. I've been to a gay club, me too.
No, Baja Betty's, that was my brunch spot. Look here, dog. Like 35.
I'm talking about, I've been to one at night.
I have as well.
Yeah. I don't want to say I knowingly went, but I did. I knew what it was when I went in. I was a little tricked to going in because I thought we were all going in because somebody that lived there suggested it. And I already had a funny feeling about this person to begin with. Shout outs to Briggs. Briggs is not the one that
I know
go in, but it's one of his family members, and I already knew his family member. And I mean, I didn't think anything. He had a girl with him, and he was just like, "There's nothing open in LA." So like West Hollywood, but he was like, "I've been in here." He's like, "It's cool though." And we're like, I said, man, I said, based on what I'm seeing, the people outside. This is in September, so the weather's phenomenal. So people still ain't wearing no clothes, and so I'm like, I don't know. I said, let's go to the one that looks like a lesbian bar. I was like, I don't want to go to that one. Let's go to this because there were 2 of them that were open. And he's like, no. He's like, look, it ain't live over there. He's like, it's live over here. I said, yeah, I can tell it's live. I said, but it ain't live for me. I
went to the gay club on straight night.
Straight night, huh?
Straight up the windy road, buddy.
Yeah.
I didn't finish my beer. I left it on the bar.
We went in, man. I was in there for 15 minutes, and me and shout outs to Cuban Mike. I mean, because we went in expecting Briggs. Briggs was parking the car. I'm like, this nigga is not coming in. He fucking didn't. And I was like, Mike, we got to get out of here. I was like, this is, it's, you see certain stuff. They have a stage and everything too. And I was like, bro, there's a lot going on right now.
You see
the guy that's serving you a beer is cracking it open with his belly button. There's just a lot of shit going on that I don't want to be a part. I don't want to be in here.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? You're seeing stuff that you don't care that it's happening.
Well, I'm not homophobic, so like,
like, you don't care that it's happening.
Experience, it's cool, but I can't hit on chicks, and I don't hit on chicks every time I go out, but there has to be a level of I'm comfortable in my skin and my sexuality to where being in a gay club doesn't bother me, but at the same time, it's like
I don't enjoy it.
Yeah, this isn't fun.
And that's what it was for me, man. Like I go in there and back that thing up comes on.
You're used to seeing some prime cheeks pop up.
And I didn't see prime cheeks. I saw prime's cheeks. And you know what I mean? I'm like, it's not what I'm into. That's a joke. Prime was not in there. It was a joke to play off its wordplay. Let's get out of here, man. Let's get to it, man.
As I said, let's get to football. What a wild way to start this podcast. We went from politics to gay clubs.
To rising up.
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy.
I don't care what people say. It is what it is. Has nothing on this podcast.
No, they just have more name
platform, and I mean, we all just know who they are, literally. So,
and platinum albums.
Even the Treasure's
huh?
Treasure's nice. I like Treasure.
I don't see her.
As you probably don't. I mean, I would imagine you don't, but from my opinion, she is.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Eyes for one. But yeah, so not gonna lie to y'all, the score doesn't tell the story of the game. Falcons beat the piss out of the Cowboys. Wasn't really close. Yeah, they outgained us, but they're a sloppy operation. You can tell they don't hit in practice because they couldn't tackle for shit. They couldn't throw the ball down the field. People kept saying CD, CD, CD. And I was like, bro, I got Apple Music on my phone. What are y'all talking about? Don't nobody listen to no CDs. That CD got scratches all over the skipping. I feel a pick coming. No, you don't. You don't feel a pick coming.
As I say, that's Deron Bland's job.
Yeah, he's out.
And Diggs
gonna get a pick. I was like, no, Diggs is gonna get beat deep. And that's kind of what happened. But no, all the penalties, the 4 turnovers on downs. Dallas, just watching Dallas in person, man, they're a bad football team. Like, I'm not even going to talk about the Falcons being a good football team because I don't know if we are yet, but I know we're not bad.
Yeah.
Dallas is a bad football operation. And honestly, big shout out to the Dallas fans because they were rooting for their team, as any fan should. But in the conversations, you know, in between quarters, during timeouts, during changes possessions, very rational group of people. They know that product they're putting out there is not good. It's a not good product. And that's what played out, you know, and we talked about this before the game. You know, it took me an hour to get from Howell Mill to the stadium. For those of you who are familiar with Atlanta, yeah, hour from Howard Mill to the stadium. But Parlay Pete, we said we need to win this game. We need to win this game by 10 points. We need to win this game by a touchdown, 3 points to a touchdown, but they score a garbage touchdown to make the game look closer than it was.
That's kind of what we thought.
And that's what they did.
And that's exactly what happened.
So shout out to the Falcons for coming out. We found our stride with Bijan.
Shout out to the Falcons fans for coming out.
Yeah, no, it was a Falcons home game.
They made the tickets hard to get in. I mean, I know it because I was looking to buy, and they made it tough.
Even if it was 51-49 Dallas, the volume was 60-40 Atlanta.
Yeah, it was red.
Yeah, it was red. We were loud. Honestly, though, there were visibly more
plenty of blue in there, but the red was just way louder.
But there was visibly more empty seats than I expected. But from
it
being
looked like it on TV,
huh?
It looked like it on TV to start the game.
There were empty seats, but I don't think the arena itself was empty.
Yeah,
A lot of people in the club, a lot of people standing around on the outside, But no, it was a great time. Falcons won. Falcons are first in the division. If we go 4-4 for the rest of the year, the division is ours. Unless Tampa goes like 7-1.
Yeah, I sent you that, right?
Yeah.
4-4. They'd have to go 7-1, and Carolina would have to go 8-0. I'm like, but we already knew that we kind of had won the division. Once Tampa lost, and then they get the 49ers off a bye with Christian McCaffrey back. Good luck. But I liked them to cover, though. I really did. I had liked the 9.5. I was like, man, I mean, I would have bought a point just to make it 10.5, but like,
yeah,
I liked it. Because I was like, man, they score points. Because Tampa they can score still. They showed that they can score even in that game.
Hey,
they're an entertaining team, actually.
Baker Mayfield's a good NFL quarterback.
He is. I was going to tell you that he had ran for on a third down, and he got it like out of bounds. I was like, man, you could tell Baker gives a shit, and I like that about a quarterback.
No, even the third down he didn't get.
The one that got called back on the hole before the half.
No, not that one. There was another one that he ran forward. It's like third and long. He came up a few yards short. It's just like, this guy cares.
Hey, we got our first independent win, by the way, in the Senate.
Okay.
I mean, we know who it was.
Who, Bernie?
Yeah.
Feel the burn. Like
they
a dirty
burn up there.
But yeah, so the Falcons are doing what we predicted they would do. We're a competent offense. We have a guy who can throw the ball. And going into last week, we were the only team with 2 500-yard receivers, Darnell Mooney and Drake London. And when you watch the games, you can see it. Bijan Robinson is actually living up to who we thought he would be. You know why? Because he has a quarterback who can keep 8 out of the box. And we're not just out here running the Arthur Smith special.
Here's what we're doing. We're going to run the piss out of this football.
Hey,
I got you. We're getting ready to run the piss out of football.
We can actually now run the piss out of the football because we can throw the air out of the ball. You know what I mean?
Take the air out of the ball just so I can flex.
Yeah, but so, I mean, we called this at the beginning of the year. We walk into every game knowing we have a chance to win because of who we have behind center. And what was most beautiful about this game, Kirk Cousins gets a first down run that we needed. And on fourth down, we throw the touchdown to Darnell Mooney because guess what? Zach Robinson goes, oh, yeah. He's sending the house. What happens? The house gets sent. Kirk scrambles out to the right a little bit, throws a little lofty ball to Darnell Mooney. He walks into the end zone. Literally walks into the end zone.
Super duper gratifying for Kirk to get Big Zim back because I didn't realize, I guess, that they had a tumultuous relationship in his time there. Because, the one playoff game that Kirk Cousins has won, it was with Zimmer. They beat the Saints in New Orleans. They were a 6 seed. The Saints were a 3, and they beat them in the first round. And they gave San Francisco a run for their money in that next game. But I'm sure it was gratifying for him to get that win over him specifically, and vice versa. They know each other. So it's like, and Dallas just isn't a good football team. And I'm glad that we proved it because that's what we should have did to Seattle. Not that Seattle's not a good football team, but they had no business beating us and certainly beating us the way that they did when they came to town because we should – let's call a spade a spade. We should be 7-2. I mean, 7-2, and we could easily be 8-1. So it's just kind of like.
What game do you think we legitimately lost?
The Steelers game. I thought that we were kind of beat the entire way.
Yeah.
Like we could have won that game too, but like I think that not only because we lost by 8, but like I don't know. I mean, these were my comments after that game. I said, wow. I said, Kirk Cousins looked like he cosplayed fucking Desmond Ridder to me. I said, this looks like the same team. The Chiefs game, we could have won. We had 2 different opportunities on fourth down, and we just did not convert. I think if we replay that game this Sunday on Sunday Night Football, I bet the Falcons win. So, but same thing with the Steelers in a weird way. I feel like we played all the teams that we lost to. I think if we played them this upcoming Sunday, we would win.
Yeah, I agree with you. We had a pass rush. So question for you. Do you want to go in the direction of how we stack up against the NFC, or do you want to talk about the dumpster fire that's Dallas?
let's keep it on us for a little bit. I think if we stack ourselves up against the NFC, right now we're the 3 seed because the Commanders are 7-2. Obviously, Detroit's 7-1, and I mean, Detroit looks like the best team in the NFL. But in a weird way, if I had to pick a team legitimately that could go to Detroit and win, I think it is us. I think that we're the team that can beat them. Like, for one, their one loss is to Tampa, a team that we beat twice. Once,
but that's when they threw the ball like 50 times.
Doesn't matter. They won the game. They went there and won. It was a low-scoring game, too. It wasn't high-scoring. Like, it wasn't a shootout. But we thought that Tampa stood a chance last year to beat them. Our offense is – I'm not saying our offense doesn't mirror Tampa's, but we have multiple backs. Our offense kind of mirrors Detroit a little bit. I think we kind of have the same offense. I would say our receiving core as a whole is better than theirs.
I'd agree.
I also think that Darnell Mooney's better than Jameson Williams.
Well, is he going to play again?
Well, if he does or doesn't, one way or another, we're still better there. Sam Laporta is having a Kyle Pitts-like year in terms of the sophomore slump. He's doing the same thing that Kyle Pitts did. So, to me, and Sam Laporta was he was drafted early in the second round 2 years ago. So it's like, he's
early in fantasy.
He's not Kyle Pitts. I mean, Kyle Pitts was drafted fourth, but I'm just saying he's a highly touted tight end. Like that's a high position to take a tight end too. Early in the second that's high. And so I don't know, we're built kind of the same. He's got this second breath of life. And it's just like one of those things where, I feel like he realizes that, man, this could be it for me. I didn't have to have this opportunity or be able to get put with this team because they literally chose me over Bill Belichick. Like, the nigga that's going to break because he's going to get a job after this year. He's going to break the winningest coach, the best coach in NFL history. They took me over him. So there's something that they see in me. Let me make the most of my opportunity.
Well, what they saw in him, what they saw in him was that Rich McKay got to keep his corner office.
Sure. I mean, yeah, that's a huge part of it too. But look, the Falcons are cooking with hot grease. I mean, 5 out of the last 6. The offense has scored in all of those games over. I know we've gone over 24 in all of them.
And I mean, and the one of the teams ahead of us, we get to go to Washington and see the Commanders.
I know, yeah, we get them. We get Kurt's comeback game to Minnesota. I think both will be flex to Sunday night. I think that, and Monday night is even eligible for flex too. So one might be Monday and the other might be a Sunday. I think both of those are going to be prime time.
And both of those are away games, so good. I like away games getting flexed.
And to me, as long as we split, ideally, I would much rather beat the Commanders, of course.
I will tell you, as a fan and a game attendee, I don't like the primetime games.
I think Kirk's gotten over whatever everybody.
No. It has nothing to do with the team. It has everything to do with me having to be productive the next day.
Logistically, I got just life.
Yeah. Nobody's trying to get home at 1:30 after a game. Yeah, but I think if we would do a NFC power rankings now, I don't care what the national media says because they don't watch the Falcons. We don't get talked about ever. We play the Cowboys and we don't even get talked about. All we get is, are the Falcons a good team? I don't know. Well, you're blowing the Eagles and we beat them. So are we better than Washington? I think so. Are we better than Detroit based on what I've seen right now? No. Not saying we can't beat them and we won't beat them.
I feel like their defense hasn't fallen off as much because of Aiden Hutchinson. Like, everybody thought that maybe because he was so good at rushing the passer, and we haven't really gotten that heat until the Cowboys. But I think that's a reflection of just the Cowboys too.
Yeah.
And so, I think that now remember. So you watched it too. Like, we watched it. We saw the same football. I went to the Detroit game last year.
The game was
one of the
closer than the
things-
score.
Huh?
The game was much closer than the score.
It was way closer. Koo missed a kick, which we got to get that together because I mean he's been a little shaky now. It seems like, but
yeah,
Koo missed a kick in that game. We were in that game until the fourth quarter. It was a touchdown game. It was 10-3, like headed into the fourth. I don't think that would be the type of game it would be this go around if we play them, but like because we have a competent quarterback, we have an NFL quarterback, and he's not just an NFL quarterback; he's a good quarterback. Like he's actually good. So like,
you might make the Pro Bowl. I
don't know if how much better is Jared Goff? Jared Goff's been playing very well. People call Jared Goff Matt Ryan light, like, and honestly, I do see it. Like he reminds me a little bit of Matt Ryan. He does. I think Matt's better. That's just my opinion. Like I think Matt's a better quarterback. Like his prime is better than Jared Goff's prime. And that could go between the Rams too now. I just think that Matt's prime is better than his.
Would you put Matt's prime over Drew Brees' prime?
No. Okay. I don't have to be look, I'm a realist too.
Just checking.
I don't put it over it. I do think that Matt was better than Drew.
What about Stafford?
Certain years out of the years that they were going against each other, he was better than him.
What about Stafford?
He indicated it.
What about Stafford?
Matt's better than Stafford. I know Stafford's got the Super Bowl and the MVP. No, he didn't get MVP. Cooper Kupp got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know he's got the Super Bowl, but I think Matt's a better – if Matt got put in that situation at the point in his career that Stafford did, he would have won too with that team. And that's nothing against Stafford. They needed – Stafford threw like 40 touchdowns that year. They needed Stafford to do it. But okay. I'm just simply saying the defense was top 5. The running game was competent, and Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham were – that's a hell of a fucking dude. That was the end of Odell Beckham as we know it.
Yeah.
That was the last of his prime.
All right, let's get back to some of these teams we stack up against. Do you think we're better than the Packers? No analysis, just a yes or no.
Yes, because we beat them. We beat that same Packers. I know it was early, but we beat that same Packers team with Desmond Ridder last year.
Okay, you think we're better than Philly because we beat them?
Yeah, certainly on a neutral field, I think we would beat them. Yeah.
You think we're better than the 49ers today? You're thinking, I think so. Today.
I think so. I would want to see it.
Cardinals?
Because remember, that's another Shanahan knows Cousins. He's the one that put the call in to pick him to go even in the 4th round. That's who made the call. The Shanahans made the call because they're like, man, I see something. Just like that they did with Brock Purdy. I see something. And
different. Totally different.
It's much later in the draft, but I'm just simply saying they already had their quarterback of the future, and they still were like, man, let's get this dude because they liked something about it. I'm just saying he knows him very well.
You don't get credit for drafting somebody in the last in the draft. You don't get credit for that because if you believed in, you get credit for development, but if you believed in that player to be.
But Lynch said,
hold on. Let me finish. If you believe that Brock Purdy would turn out to be who he was, you take him much earlier.
Lynch said that in training camp that they thought he looked better than
in training camp. But
I'm just saying once
I'm not giving you credit. I'm not giving you credit for drafting him.
But but they drafted him for a reason. They still drafted him. Same thing for Belichick drafting Brady. He still drafted him. Like,
but
because why do you take it just to see what works out? Like, I still think that you have to see something. Like you saw something that
you see something, but you did not believe that player will be who they became.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. But I'm just saying they saw something.
All right, let's get back to
they still saw it. Like,
let's get back to the NFC teams. Rams.
We're better than them.
Cardinals.
We're better than them.
Anybody else, I don't care about.
Detroit, to me, is the only team.
Yeah,
I mean, we're the best equipped to beat them.
And we get to play the Vikings and see how that plays out.
That's going to be a wild game just because of Kirk coming. Like, that's going to be
I don't.
And the thing is that I know that Minnesota loves Kirk Cousins too. Like clearly, the same way they love him is kind of how like now he's being so embraced by Atlanta. Like, and we noted this after we watched quarterbacks on Netflix. We were like, this is obviously before Kirk came here, but there were rumors that maybe he would come here.
Hey, breaking news. Fannie Willis won Fulton County DA.
Well, I don't vote in Fulton. It was so wild too, by the way. There was everybody in DeKalb County ran basically unopposed. And so like you couldn't vote anyway. And Hank Johnson is my district, and he's a very I've met Hank Johnson, but
you haven't met that nigga.
He's come to my church before. When I was younger, I talked because of when the PPP stuff was going down. There was something I needed him to do. Literally, I had the secretary's number and everything. It's so crazy, but
sounds good.
Somebody commented, strapped up 24 said, "What about the Commanders?" I don't think the Commanders are better than the Falcons. And the thing is, I do believe in the Commanders. For one, DQ was our coach, so there's a lot of respect for DQ. I'm happy for DQ. I'm happy for Jaden Daniels. I really like Jaden Daniels. If there were two quarterbacks in the draft and we can run it back the tape, I always liked Jaden Daniels and I always liked Michael Penix. When we signed Kirk Cousins, I didn't think that we would be getting either of them. Of course, we got Penix, and we knew that we never really had a chance to get Jaden Daniels. But I like Jaden Daniels. I said he reminded me, not playing style-wise, but story-wise, the same thing that happened with Joe Burrow in a sense of his first year at LSU, to me, was mid. I thought he was kind of mid. His Heisman year, I was like, oh, no, this motherfucker can ball is really what it is. He can ball. I'm not going to say I necessarily am oh, man, I loved him over Caleb Williams. But in terms of what I did see in college, I was like, I don't know. This is attractive to me. He's bigger. He's bigger than him. Height-wise, he's just I don't know.
The gap,
he's a better runner.
The gap between those two coming out was not nearly as far as it was projected to be.
Yeah, because they made it. It was just it's a no-brainer. Caleb Williams goes one.
But Terry Fontenot, he caught a lot of heat for taking a quarterback after signing a quarterback. And based on the way that the team is playing so far this year, the move makes sense.
Everybody loves it.
Does Jared Verse? Hold on, Parley Pete. Let me cook. Goddamn it! I'm trying to introduce a topic.
Go ahead.
Does Jared Verse make the Falcons better today? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We still can't get a pass rush. I don't know if Jared Verse is the guy who creates that pass rush because the Rams have a good front four. And if we continue playing the way we're playing this year and that rolls into next year, well, then we don't get a chance to draft a good quarterback. We don't have a chance to put him in a system. We don't have a chance to have weapons around him. And also we don't have the opportunity to underpay him for his second contract because he hasn't freaking played. We don't have these opportunities. So I think it makes sense. But in my praise of Terry Fontenot, Terry, were you resting on your laurels today? Were you asleep at the wheel? Or did Big Daddy Rich make a call and say, I think we're good?
Ojulari, I think that it didn't help that we came off our best pass rushing performance this Sunday.
I don't
gave them more confidence that it will work.
That should have mattered because Dallas's offensive line is terrible. We know they can't throw the ball down the field because nobody can get open. And although CeeDee Lamb is a great receiver, he can
get open against us.
No, and he's not a crazy deep threat either. He's more of a catch the ball yak guy. Yes, he can catch a deep ball pulse, but he's not a take the top off the defense type of receiver. So
Jameson Williams would be perfect for the Cowboys. His whole record and everything. He'd be great.
Oh God, yeah, he's perfect, man. He's troubled. But yeah, so we didn't go after Azeez Ojulari. We could have brought back a home product. For a seventh rounder.
Yeah, could have got Preston Smith.
For a seventh rounder. I'm not saying he's prime Preston Smith, but it doesn't hurt to have him on the line. Grady Jarrett got hurt.
7 or 8 sack guy. Just add him to the rotation.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not for a seventh. hell, give it the 6. I mean, give him the 6 then. I mean, let's do it. Like, what's the issue with that? I don't know.
Maybe the Packers wouldn't deal him to us because they see us as a threat. So they send him to the Steelers. Maybe. I'm trying to give Terry a little bit of bail. But if you ask me, I think Terry was asleep at the wheel today.
I think that he had a set price and he wasn't willing to negotiate. That he said, this is what we'll give you. If you don't take it, just call my phone if you want to. And he waited. He was sitting in his office. He was doing other things. And then the phone never rang. Like that's how I feel like this kind of went for him.
Do you think he voted in Georgia?
Yeah, he's been here long enough. He switched everything over.
Okay. But speaking of the trade deadline, we did see a few trades. Obviously, we saw Preston Smith go to the Steelers, as well as Mike Williams go to the Steelers. I talked to a Steelers fan, not really excited about Mike Williams.
Do I know this Steelers fan?
No, not that one.
Okay.
Pretty much what he said was he's just another Van Jefferson. We just got a bunch of guys at receiver.
His ceiling is much higher than Van Jefferson's, but yes, in terms of what we've seen and what we kind of know about him, anyways. Because what difference does it if Aaron Rodgers is throwing you the ball, even in this state of Aaron Rodgers? You know, what's Russ gonna do with you? You know, and Mike Williams is kind of more of a deep ball. He is a deep ball type guy. So like. Which is why the Chargers let him go, because Quentin Johnston is the same. They're really kind of the same dudes, but I mean, he's a little bit bigger than Mike. I mean, Mike's a pretty big receiver, but
I mean, yeah, Quentin, he showed up this week.
He scored. He's good for that every 3 or 4 games. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else did we see today happen? We saw Marshawn Lattimore go to the Commanders. Great move by them to get a legitimate number 1 corner to come to their team, because it appears that they're going to make a playoff push. But speaking of the Saints getting rid of an asset, they also got rid of some dead weight. They parted ways with Dennis Allen, a guy who we predicted would be the first coach fired. Obviously, Woody Johnson jumped the gun, and you shouldn't be judged for a prediction when somebody does something off the wall.
And that's what that was, getting fired, because this is mid-season, so like it made sense. We literally were like Halloween. Like we were like, does he make it to Halloween? That was everybody. You can run back the podcast tapes. We literally Halloween was kind of our over/under, and he made it just past Halloween. We figured that maybe the Broncos game, which they did get embarrassed. We figured Sean Payton showing up, and you wanted them to lose that game, and I was like, watch Denver win. But like, we were teetering with Halloween being the date, and he got fired a little after, so we were kind of on point, literally.
The last time he got fired as a head coach was under Derek Carr.
He was a rookie. That was rookie year, Derek Carr. It had to.
Nope. I just know he got fired and Derek Carr was starting quarterback.
Had to have been rookie year.
Apparently, the Carr brothers have like the most losses as a quarterback at the end of every year in their career.
At the end of every year,
if you go through year 1, through year 2, year 3, year 4.
Oh, you're saying that by the year's
end, Carr brothers lead the league in losses.
Except the 1 year. I mean, Derek was good in Oakland. The year we went to the Super Bowl, because we played them in Oakland. I wanted to go to that game in Alameda.
Well, at that point,
that was a great game too. I don't know if you remember.
At that point, I think David still had the most losses through that many seasons. But then Derek took over for him.
They were good that year because they went 12-4, and then he broke his leg or something week 15.
I mean, Derek Carr's only been on 2 good teams.
Yeah, the 2 playoff teams that he was a part of. Yeah. Outside of that, at best, the Raiders were 7-9.
Didn't you want him to come to Atlanta?
No, I did not want him. I thought that was a super Band-Aid.
Or was that me who said maybe we go after Derek Carr?
I never wanted Derek Carr to be here. Now, what I was willing to say, I was definitely in on Watson, no doubt. Like I thought it made a ton of sense, and I'm glad.
Bullet dodged.
I'm
Twice averted.
so glad we didn't do that. I wanted him, and even the Lamar thing, the thing was this. It was the way that they were trying to set up the packages to get him. They were like, well, you got to give up 2. You got to make him the highest paid player. It has to be all guaranteed. And then they were basically saying we needed to trade Bijan to get him. And I'm like, nah, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I mean, I get it. Like, I don't know. That was going to be weird. Like, that would just be like, I don't like the idea of mortgaging anything at this point, especially because we were just getting out of cap hell. But I also wasn't on board with the Ritter thing. And I knew it was like, well, God, maybe we just have to wait. But if we had to wait, it was just like, you're going to put us through this again. And then we kept overachieving a little bit because we were winning 7 games and these were not 7-win rosters. It all has worked out so far. We're a little over halfway through our year because we've got 9 games in our belt. But like, I think we're set up for success moving forward. I mean, I like what's happened. I think
Bill Simmons classified us
as a job.
Bill Simmons classified us as a good bad team.
Okay. Well, he's saying that we're like the Matt Schaub Texans because that's what that is. A team that will win your division, will win 10-plus games, but ultimately will fall to whoever they play in the first round. It doesn't even matter who it is.
He said the same thing about the Commanders, too.
Bill Simmons has probably never had a good take on the Falcons. And I like Bill Simmons, but like he's probably never had a good take on the Falcons either.
Bill Simmons doesn't have good takes anymore.
Pat McAfee said today on McAfee, because I told you I was watching because when they announced the Mike Williams trade, Aaron Rodgers on. Pat McAfee said,
I'm enthusiast.
Pat, yeah, that's what they had. 4-time Super Bowl champion, ayahuasca enthusiast.
Yeah, I saw that when I was at the gym today.
But he either way, he spoke about the Falcons and he said, he's like, guys, he's like Falcons, he's like, it's a pretty good football team down in Atlanta. And he's right. Like I don't think that anyone needs to be afraid, A, because the division is pretty much wrapped up, but then B, it's like, let's talk a little bit more about us being a contender. Jaden Daniels, DQ, great story. Commanders turn around the franchise. Great story. Let's call a spade a spade. If we played each other, who does everybody think is the better team? I think we're better than them. And I think everybody would agree with that. Unless Jaden Daniels is the Messiah, we've never seen somebody just come in and do the, like as a rookie, he's gonna go to the NFC Championship game as a rookie. I don't believe that, but that's just my opinion.
But you know why we don't get the love? You know why we don't get the credit we deserve?
Why?
Because we have a black coach.
Boy, that sounds like some election talk.
It's a joke. It's a joke. I'm not serious.
I know you're not, but
oh man, but the libs might believe it. You know, the Ryan Clarks of the world, they might take it and run with it.
Well, he's under fire because he dressed up as Belichick for Halloween. But
you know, I had no problem with him dressing up as Belichick for Halloween.
It was a mask. Everybody acted like he painted his face.
The only problem I have with it is that if he's somebody who gets upset about blackface, which I think there's a way to do blackface in today's society that it's not offensive.
Yeah.
But I would also say you probably shouldn't do it just because people aren't going to rock with it.
Lee, there is a school that we played against called Pinecrest Academy. They're in Cummings, Georgia, Forsyth County.
Well, that's different.
No, it isn't, because today everybody would be outraged by what I saw as a player that day. We're at the game. We're getting ready to tip off. Somebody walks in with the fucking – now, we're basically an all-black team at a,
all-white school.
And we're playing against an all-white team. I don't even think there was a nigga on their team, honestly.
Oh, wow.
If I remember correctly. Anyways, all-white crowd, cool. Forsyth County, it's one of those sundown counties. I get it. Like, I know. But, like, somebody walked in with a gorilla costume. Now, everybody could try and point to the Phoenix Suns and say, well, their mascot's a gorilla. No, no. We know exactly. Let me tell you, I'll never forget it because even when we played them in football, they made us their homecoming game, and I was on the football team my sophomore year.
Oh, there was
a lot of stuff going on during that game, and they kicked our ass. Like I got caught. So one of my lowlights of my football career is the one time I ever got a penalty in a game, and I got a block in the back on a kick return that resulted in a touchdown.
Good job.
I know it's kind of crazy, right? And you have that dumbfounded look. Like I don't know how they even got me for that. I kind of got them on the side, like his pad, but they gave me a block in the back, and I was on kick return.
You didn't get your helmet across.
I don't know what the fuck it was. I just know that they said block in the back, number 83, and I'm like, okay.
Ooh, what a trash number, 83.
As a wide receiver corner, I mean, I wasn't good at football. I mean, I had never played.
Lined up at corner with 83. That's nasty.
But Lee, I never got in the game. This is what I'm saying. I've done a few snaps at wide receiver. Like when we were beating somebody, I would get in, and then we were running the ball. So like it didn't really matter. I never got a ball thrown my way.
I'll tell you what though.
Plus my brother was 81, so we were like 8. We did some pictures. Like
okay, now I mean 80 is 3 though, because 3 is a trash ass number.
I was never going to be on defense. This is what I'm saying, Lee. Like if anything, I was going to be a wide receiver. Like if I was going to get in, I never got in on defense, but offensively, I'm trying to tell you. Here's the thing.
No, I'm not laughing at you. So VJ, he in here, and he wore number 3 in high school. So I just want to shit on his number, just to see the ugly face he would make when I said it, and he just had the look of disgust when I said that shit.
Yeah,
I mean, we were single digit guys, though.
I mean, for basketball, of course, I was number 5 in basketball, but basketball was my sport. So, like,
I also, I'm a single digit guy too.
34 on JV, that's always been my number. 34 has always been my number because it was my dad's number. But like,
okay, so not paying homage to Charles Barkley.
No, it was my dad's number. But I also, outside of Kobe, my 2 favorite players, and I'm not ashamed to say this, growing up, my 2 favorite players were Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. So you can imagine how conflicting it was when they were both on the Celtics. Obviously, Paul Pierce because he was the truth, and it said Pierce across the back, although it's spelled differently. That, of course,
it's not spelled differently.
But I'm just saying I gravitated towards it. And
it's not spelled differently in our phones.
But Ray Allen used to be like one of my outside of Kobe. Literally, Ray Allen was probably my second favorite player in the NBA.
Michael Redd and Tayshaun Prince were 2 of my favorite players.
Really?
Lefties.
Do you feel like you played like them? Like, was that more of your style of play? Because I used to shoot threes. Like, that was my thing. I'm a layup 3 guy. Even in high school, even when I was, like, playing and stuff, like senior and sophomore year, starting, like, that was my style of play. I was a 3-point shooter and layup. Like,
I play
layups and stuff.
I play like a 90s guard. I played hard defense, and I drove to the basket.
See,
and I had a midi.
I'm a jump shooter. Like, I'm a jump shooter. I mean, we have actually played a basketball game.
No count, man. We played outside. And it was windy.
Yeah, it was bad conditions. But, like, I noticed, obviously, you like going to the hole. Like, that is not my game. Like, that's why even us doing 3-on-3 is fine. I mean, I'll play 2-on-2. I'll play 1-on-1. But, like, I'm a jump shooter. Like, that's my game.
You couldn't even go to the basket that day because the way Josh Holsey and Julian Turner foul you when you go to the basket, it's like, dog.
We couldn't even because of the wind and the way that the backboard, it was a smaller backboard. I don't make excuses. We lost, but like,
I don't care about
that. I literally told them, I said, if we play in a gym, I said, I bet we bust y'all's ass. Like, because I know that we would. In a gym, we would have bust their ass, bro.
Maybe we should come up with a rule in pickup that at some point, if you just wrapping people up going to the basket count, bro. Like if I can't go to the basket without you wrapping me up and we checking ball every time, you're taking away a whole part of the game, especially outside and it's windy. Who's shooting threes in the wind?
No, yeah, it was a windy, and then just the idea that we put the basketball, nothing. I'm not shitting on the ball.
Now that ball is terrible. I bought that bitch from Walmart the night before.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't play a basketball game. Like, yes,
Nigga, that was a Shaq outdoor
and
ball.
wasn't it a double rim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was just so much wrong with us playing that game. It fit them because in reality, the team
None of them could shoot.
Well, they couldn't shoot, but the team of Josh, Gambles, and Jew, I would say were more physical than us.
Oh, God, yes.
That was a much more physical team. I
The
think
three of them lift weights every day.
the two more gifted basketball players were on one side, and to a degree, yeah, we had the height advantage, but like Boink, to me, Boink and Jew are almost a wash. Like that's like a wash of a match. And then between me, you, Josh, like and Gambles is a bank shot merchant that has how many pounds on you and me? He's probably got 50 pounds on me and probably 55, 60 on you.
So V, imagine this, right? I know you ain't got your mic. Imagine somebody with about the size of Trevor drop stepping on me and Parlay Pete. Like no skill, but can do a layup and drop step.
Yeah, he can make a layup.
But
not indoor, outside in conditions.
And he lifts weights now. He lifts weights.
I tell you what, he was the strongest player.
He's like strongest person on group text. He and he goes to the gym to like max. Like he's
you know Deshaun, right?
Yeah, he slammed it, didn't he?
Yeah, like bro, I have that shit on camera still. He body now, and Deshaun is like 6'2".
Deshaun was like 215, 210 as a freshman in college.
And he was like 6'1", 6'2". Deshaun wasn't short either. Like he body and like Gambles is what 6 feet, maybe 5.
Nah, he about 6. No. Gambles is taller than me. He's like 6'1".
Okay, so me and Gambles are the same height.
Yeah, about the same height.
Well, Deshaun's taller than him, and he fucking bought. I watched this nigga. I was there.
All right. Hey, we got to get out of this. Nobody cares about this. Let's get to Carson Beck. Should we bench Beck? That guy sucks.
They're not going to though. Like I think that Gunnar Stockton. You'd have to feel so confident in Gunnar Stockton unless we start what's his face from Florida. But like, I don't think that
Kirby's too loyal to his pocket quarterbacks, man.
Voting breaking news, just to give a heads up. So on the presidential election, Donald Trump is now minus 300, Kamala's plus 250, and even the popular vote is starting to slip. Popular vote has Kamala minus 170, Trump plus 130. Earlier, it was Kamala minus 390, Trump plus like 300.
I hope you took Kamala on the popular vote.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
There's more Dems in this country than Republicans.
Well, California hasn't been counted.
True.
The most populous state.
I mean, the polls are still open in California.
That's what I'm saying. It's 6-11 there, right? So I'm just saying these are how the odds are turning right as we speak. They're turning.
All right, yeah, let's get back to Carson Beck, man, because the odds of Georgia winning the national championship are turning because of Carson Beck's poor play. This guy is 2 picks a game every time he laces them up.
Yeah,
this guy's.
It doesn't even matter what defense it is.
I know he's white Dak Prescott. You know what I mean? Like he went from the half sleeve to the full sleeve. You know, and he's just throwing picks, and the more weapons.
Disrespectful to Dak, though.
No, because Carson Beck's still going to get drafted higher than Dak.
Yeah, but will he get a contract like Dak in the NFL?
No, he's going to get a clipboard like
Stat.
Like Stat. I was going to go with Dak's backup, who's now the OC in Philly, Kellen.
You think he's going to take that route? I don't even think he's coach material.
No. I just mean the clipboard, because Kellen was Dak's backup before he was his OC.
Tony was too.
And Tony's still mad. Tony's still mad about being Dak's backup.
True story. And I'll make it really quick. The first time I went to Salt Lake
I don't believe you.
Okay. Well, the first time I went to Salt Lake City was the day he got hurt. He got hurt Tony Romo got hurt in a preseason game against the Seahawks. And we were in Salt Lake City because the bar closed early. It was like a Friday or a Saturday, but it was like 8:30, and they were like, yo, y'all got to put the order in because we drove from Vegas. But of course, in Dallas, by that time, it's like 9, 10, something like that.
How did you drive from Vegas to Salt Lake City?
We took a road trip. It was awesome, though. I love the West Coast. I mean, you've driven down the coast and everything, but you know how beautiful the West Coast is. I prefer their scenery more than driving through Georgia. Like that Albany to Atlanta drive is not better than the drive you had from Monterey to San Diego.
Fuck no.
So, but somebody from California will be like, no, it is better. And I'm like, no, you guys just don't know how good you have it. Like,
but I will tell you that they're equally as scary, because when you're going through the middle of the desert and the biker gangs, it is just as scary as driving through the sundown towns in the South. Make sure you got gas.
I don't even think about that when I'm driving. Like, I'll tell you what was scary coming from.
Well, you haven't almost fallen asleep in the middle of the desert.
Nashville to Atlanta, when you get to Chattanooga, the hills, that's a driving, like, because of how steep it is. That's a wild. I mean, it's so close to Cartersville's not that far from Chattanooga. So, like,
no, it's just I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's scary. Like, that was dark, bro. There's no lights. It was dark when I was driving. It was lights.
Oh no, I've not made that dark at night. That driving night.
That is not a good fun drive. Honestly.
I made it one morning after a night of raging in Nashville, and Todd left me in the car, and I woke up in the car, sleep mad as hell. I went to his apartment door. I banged on that shit so loud. I was like, nah, you gonna wake up. Got me out here in the car asleep all night. I could have got robbed and R-worded. Wouldn't have known nothing. Woke up tender.
At all. By the way, breaking news. So Georgia, the way that Bovada has the odds, Georgia right now, Republican winning Georgia is Trump minus 111. I mean, I'm sorry, minus 1100. Democrat plus 575. So
she wasted a lot of money messing up our traffic for the last 3 weekends. What you're telling me?
That's why they pulled out all the stops in reality, and I'm not mad at them for doing that. I too agree with them doing that, honestly, because they knew how important like a state like this was, because they didn't want it to come down to like Pennsylvania.
Here's my problem, though. I think
they doesn't want it to come down to Pennsylvania.
No. I just think the issue was spending all your time in Atlanta. Go to college.
This shit is getting, man, I'm getting worried for my bet because of how they're projecting this stuff right now. Like, so I thought that Kamala would win Michigan.
She was up when I last looked.
Brother, this is what the betting odds are saying. This shit's like a dead heat for that. I thought that she was honestly a shoo-in to win it. Clearly, she isn't.
Well, Michigan has a very high Palestinian population, and a lot of the Palestinians aren't rocking with the Democrats for the
No bullshit. She looks like she might lose the popular. And I'm being based on the odds. I'm just looking strictly at odds.
Well, she wasn't that popular in the primaries 4 years ago.
I know. Well, yeah, because she didn't finish second to Biden. So it's like,
I think she was like the first one to drop out, the first legitimate one to drop out. Not like Cory Booker.
America is speaking. If these are the true odds, like I said, the TV's on in the other room and I can hear it. But
what about Cory Booker?
I liked him. He spoke when Obama ran. I liked Cory Booker because he's New Jersey, right? I liked.
Yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. Let's get back to Carson Beck. I gotta pee and we gotta get to some picks.
Okay.
Well, do you think Carson Beck can get Georgia to a national championship? I mean, he can get us further than K Club.
I'm gonna be honest with you. What do we look at whenever we look at when a team is better? You're always like, well, who's the quarterback and who's the coach? The question is, how good of a coach do we think Kirby really is? He's a great coach. He's a 2-time national champion. Can he get over his bad play and win games? Like, how good is our defense? The Georgia defense this year is not the Georgia defense of past, but it's still good enough when we saw it in the Texas game. Like they're still good enough to win you a game no matter what he does. But if you catch a team like an Ohio State or an Oregon on their best day, you're probably not going to win because it's the same. We caught Alabama on their best day offensively. Clearly, that was their best game that they've had all year offensively. It was their best game. Like he has it. What's Alabama's quarterback now? I was about to say Chase McClendon, but he's our running back for the Falcons. But
Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe had his best game of his college career against Georgia that day, and we still should have won.
Well, here's the thing. I think if we had marginal quarterback play, you could talk about coaching your way out of it. But he turns the ball over. He turns the ball over when we're about to score, or he turns the ball over in the middle of the field and they get great field position. And to ask the defense who just came off the field to come back and continuously do that. And it's not one pick a game, it's multiple picks per game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not a level of coaching outside of benching this guy that sets you up. You know, maybe, just maybe, Mike Bobo could scheme it up better. I think losing Todd Monken has been a bigger loss than anything that we've had. Like, forget the personnel. You see what he's doing in the NFL. Like, he might get coordinator of the year.
Yeah.
So when you lose that level of coordinator, it just sucks. But Mike Lombardi actually threw it out here this week that maybe the Raiders should consider bringing in Kirby Smart, somebody who understands the institution and building a solid institution,
Kirby's
a franchise that is ran from the top man down.
Yeah, but Kirby's not leaving Georgia.
Well, no, why would Kirby won't get fired from Georgia unless he has a scandal?
I don't see Kirby. Kirby to me is a lifer. He's a Bobby Bowden.
Yeah.
I think he loves Georgia too much, and there isn't an NFL job attractive enough.
There's not security.
He learned that even from Nick. In reality, I feel like he kind of learned that a little from him too.
Well,
now look, if there was a chance, do you think if there was a chance, it won't be happening anytime soon, based on what we're seeing now? Do you think there would ever be a chance that Kirby would take a Falcons head coaching job?
No, I don't think
that
Kirby
would be like the only NFL job he would possibly want to take because it's the same state and he's from here and like.
But Kirby doesn't leave Georgia because of I know that I'm going to get $10 to $11 million a year, and that's going to go up as inflation goes up and as other coaches get paid. And as long as I keep my program in place, the way that it's set up, I'm going to win enough games to keep my job. If you go to the NFL, you're going to get fired. And it would be different if you were coaching at Florida, if you were coaching at A&M, if you were coaching at USC, Oklahoma. But because he's coaching at home, I don't see him leaving. And you see that NIL thing that I sent you earlier this week. We're like top 5 in NIL spending. So if it came down to Kirby needing more money, and he has the super agent, I can't even think of his name right now, that all the great coaches have. He's going to get the money to stay, and Georgia's going to find the money. So I don't see Kirby leaving. I see him retiring a Bulldog statue. They named something after him, and then he gets a fucking office in the facility forever.
Right. And I just think that is the honest to God truth of just what it is that we're dealing with here with him. He would never go to the league.
I ain't gonna lie to you, Todd. You look 45 and tired. I'm sorry. Hey, real quick, Parlay Pete. So does Carson Beck get us to a national championship? Nigga, is your name Parlay Pete?
Said no, nigga.
Is your name Parlay Pete?
You ain't finna get an answer.
I mean, he trying to do his job, and you come in here answering questions for him.
You started with me.
I didn't start nothing with you.
Clues.
Nigga, you got on 3 different color blues right now. What are you talking about?
Oh, great.
And you got the blue in your hand. I'm gonna start calling you big creep. I'm sorry. But no, do you think Carson Beck can get us to a national championship? Do you think we actually can win?
Yes. The answer is yes. Do I believe in the wizardry of Kirby Smart more than anything.
Fair enough. Real quick. Young Thug is free. Do you think he violates probation?
Ooh, what did the
I
betting?
just saw him with T.I.
Betting
T.I.
at?
is a felon, so I think he's on the track to violate.
Well, I feel like because Tip's violations were totally different than his. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You can't be around felons.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that nigga keeps the straight and narrow. And the reason I say it is because he can't be that much of an idiot, bro. 20 years. Let me tell you, somebody can call me a bitch to my face, and I'll tell them, "You right, I'm a hoe ass nigga," and I'm gonna walk out, bro, because it's just it ain't worth it to me. And he's the real question is, but see, somebody like T.I. can grab him by the shoulder as a peer and possible friend. I don't know if they're friends for real. I mean, they've obviously worked together. But
about the money.
And at the end of the day, people forget. How old is Young Thug? He's like our age.
Yeah.
Young Thug grew up listening to T.I. just like us too.
Yeah. And he's West Side.
And I'm just saying, the T.I. will mentor that nigga. Of all the Atlanta niggas, I'm not saying Gucci can either, because Gucci, think about it, bro. Niggas don't see Gucci Man no more. He's married. He's got kids, bro. Like, he don't fucking, bro, he not doing this shit no more. He already served his time, too. There are so many niggas that will be able to mentor him, certainly from the showbiz aspect of it, and be like, bro, I'm sure Young Thug has kids, right? He's got brothers and sisters, bro. He is so much bigger than him, and he has to realize that. And I feel like he knows that. Like, I have never done that type of time, period, in any type of way. But I've been to jail before. In my fucking 12 to 14 hours, bro, I'm like, I'm not trying to come back here. So I can only imagine doing it for the amount of time that he did it. So he should know to not do it. A quick story. Freshman year, I got a DUI, and literally I couldn't drink. You know what I didn't do? Drink. I didn't fucking drink with Josh and them, bro, freshman year. That after I got the DUI, I waited until I was on non-reporting for probation because I was afraid that they would get. I was already underage drinking. I was afraid that would happen. I would go out with them, bro, and I didn't drink the second half of freshman year.
Good on you, man. So here's what I think. I think he moves to LA as his primary residence. He goes in, he blends in, he makes music. But I also think on the Atlanta side of it, I think some of the lower, less popular people get real sentences that we won't see because nobody cares about it. And they gave him such a tight probation, and they gave him so much time that I do think that Fulton County, although they botched this whole thing, they still walk away with a legitimate win, and they make the streets of Atlanta safer.
I think it works out for everybody. He gets his freedom. He gets to give back to the city. He recognizes that although he probably did do something wrong, but let's say he didn't in reality. Let's just say he didn't, because he's a free walking man.
I'm not going to say that because he pled to it. He did it.
You notice that Wanna, he stays pretty fucking low key.
Yeah.
Since he got out, he does his concerts and that's it. You don't see this nigga doing this crazy push and pee and shit on Instagram. He's not doing that.
What's the fat thing they be doing? The little, and they wipe their nose.
Man, let me tell you, he makes music, bro. He has his bitch or whatever, and that's the end of the story for him. I understand it though. I understand it, man. I would not want to be in these positions. And I'm glad that they have enough self-conscious, they're able to look into themselves and realize that, man, it is so much better being in the position that I've been in than to go back to the one I was.
Yeah, I think that's a great close to it. You got the picks ready? I
do. That's what I was doing this whole time. I was like, oh shit, I gotta hurry up and get the picks. But I got them.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Parlay P week. College football six pack.
Shout outs to everybody that went out and voted today. Wish we could reveal the parlay that I have on the election, but I won't. We'll wait. Anywho, let's go ahead and get into this six pack. All right, so we're going to start off with the Georgia at Ole Miss game. Really zesty game. Ole Miss's defense is not that good. It is zesty. It's spicy. It's a spicy matchup because Ole Miss could beat Georgia. That's why the line indicates that they could. Georgia's only a 2.5-point favorite, but I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to pick Georgia to score over 13.5 points in the first half at Ole Miss. I think that defense, they can move on. And more importantly, Kirby has to get off to a good start in order for them to win this game. So them scoring 2 touchdowns in the first half, I don't think that's going to be that tough for them. So give me over 13.5 points, Georgia.
Well, Lane's 1 foot out the door anyways. He's headed to Gainesville.
He might be headed to USC, but we'll see.
Tallahassee.
Somebody's gonna open up that checkbook, and he's going to the hot. Hey, he's just like immediately after the World Series, Juan Soto said he was open to playing for any team, and he said all 30 teams. He said I'm open. Basically, who's coming with the biggest paycheck, and that's the type of guy Lane is. He knows he's not going to win an Addy at Ole Miss. So,
no.
Yeah. And think about it. This is a guy that's already coached in the NFL. He's coached at Tennessee, coached at USC. He wants to get paid. I'm not mad at him. Next, we got Michigan at Indiana. I am a little surprised at this line. And I think Michigan's a bad team, but how good do you think Indiana is? I think Michigan's defense is still respectable. I'm going to take Michigan plus 14.5. I think that's a big spread. Even against Michigan still today, when Indiana hasn't played a ranked team all year. Not that Michigan is, but they were. So give me Michigan plus 14.5. Next, my favorite fucking team. I picked them last week. They won outright. Might be my favorite team to bet on. They are so good against the spread and the money line. Give me Vanderbilt money line. South Carolina at Vanderbilt. That's going to be a very good game. That might be the best game in college football this week. Underrated game. But I like Vandy at home. Give me Vandy on the money. They're dogs. They're dogs. And I could take the 3.5, but I'm just going to take Vandy straight up. I like Vandy.
Okay.
I like Vandy.
Kamala's winning Cobb County, by the way.
Really?
80% reported. She's up 57. She's got Gwinnett at 18%, but she's up at 60 right now. And Gwinnett,
but Gwinnett's the biggest county in the metro.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why the odds are saying it. But anyways, next, Army at North Texas. I like under 64. So it's a weird line. So both of these teams are high scoring. The thing is that everybody knows that Army runs the option. So I guess my thought is that is North Texas just not going to stop them? Like the line for the game is 6. If North Texas doesn't stop them, then I guess it's going to go over. But the fact that they run the ball, are they just going to run the ball and then North Texas passes it and then it goes over? I don't think so. 64 is a big number. Under 64 in Army at North Texas. Next, Dabble gets a little get-back sex. I don't think Virginia Tech's all that good, and their quarterbacks hurt. Give me Clemson on the money line at Virginia Tech. It's a very decent number, probably because of how they looked against Louisville. And then finally, this is the first time I've done this all year, and I should have been doing it. Florida State at Notre Dame. Give me Notre Dame minus 24, bro. They're going to blow them out. Florida State is a very bad program. It's a very bad product. And Mike Norville is DeMar Hamlin, as we spoke about earlier.
No, disrespectful to DeMar Hamlin. He bounced back. He came back to life.
All right.
Norville, he's dead man.
He's Kobe Bryant on a helicopter.
Wow.
Well, look, I'm a huge Kobe fan, and it's no disrespect to Kobe, obviously, but I'm just at the end of the day, he is dead. So
Vanessa's gonna sue us.
I hope not. Maybe we can blurt out his name, and she should. I'm a huge. I don't mean anything by it.
Yeah, no.
Say, all right, it's Lincoln in Ford Theater. How about that?
I was gonna say it's Lincoln in the Coliseum.
He wouldn't have. I thought it was Ford Theater.
Lincoln Riley, buddy.
Oh, wow. Ooh, double entendre. I like it. Anyway.
All right, so we got UGA over 13.5 first half, Michigan plus 14.5
points, total points that they scored.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Over 13 points. Yeah, I knew that when I said it, but yeah, you're right.
Nah, just to clarify for the people.
Vandy on the money line, Army at North Texas under 64, Clemson on the money line, and Notre Dame minus 24.
Yeah, hell yeah. Honestly, pepper as much as you can on the Notre Dame. That's a bad. Of course, it's a bad football team.
And gentlemen, it's time for Parlay PFL 666.
I hate to kick things off this way, but I have to kick things off this way. Falcons -3, enough said. I'm not even going to go into details. Falcons -3 at New Orleans. Next, Minnesota Vikings at Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, I really don't see the points being scored here. Give me under 47.5. I just don't see the points. I don't see the points. On the road, I don't see the points. Under 47.5. Next, New England Patriots at Chicago Bears. Bears -6. They get their bounce back game. They dropped 2 in a row. New England is not a good football team. I love the play that Drake made at the end against Tennessee. The only problem was this. They lost, and that was a bad team that they played against. The Bears are significantly better than the Titans. Bears -6. Next, New York Giants at Carolina Panthers. This game's not at Carolina, but it's in Germany. The Giants are going to get one. They're better than the Panthers. And, again, I don't like bad teams to win 2 games in a row. And the Giants are a bad team, but they're better than Carolina. Give me the Giants on the money line. And then my final 2, Monday night, we got the Dolphins at the Rams. I kind of like the Dolphins here. They're dogs. Give me the Dolphins on the money line. And then the final game, probably the best game of the week, Pittsburgh Steelers at Washington Commanders.
It's a good one.
I'm fading the Commanders. Give me the Steelers +3.5. And I honestly like them to win, but I'll just take the points.
All righty. So we got Falcons -3, Vikings at Jags under 47.5, Bears -6, Giants money line, Dolphins money line, Steelers +3.5.
Yeah.
You like it, and I love it.
When you love it and I like it, it's time for
Leaves 3. Leaves 3. Leaves 3. All right, so this week's Leaves 3. You know what? I'm going to get spicy with you guys. Give me Notre Dame -24 to start it off. You know what? I don't believe in Mike Norvell. I don't believe in a coach who will believe in DJU after what we've seen over the last 10 years. And give me Notre Dame. They're a good football team.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with my guys. I don't care about the interim coach bump. Give me the Falcons -3. Saints aren't good. The Saints aren't good. The Saints aren't good.
We're good. That's enough of an explanation. And we are good. Hold on. Let's put that out there. We are good.
Yeah, we're good. And lastly, I'm going to close off Leaves 3 with, you know what? I like the Steelers +3.5 as well. I probably would take them on the money line if you would have put that out there, just because I think they're a good football team. They play good defense, and that pass rush is going to light up Jay.
Flip that shit.
Yeah.
No, flip it to the ML.
All right, let's go. Steelers money line.
No, let's flip it. I like the Steelers to win anyways, but I just
Steelers
think
money line.
It's like a can't lose type thing.
Yeah.
But let's flip it. I'll flip mine. Flip it.
All right, bet. Perfect. I'll put it out there. Steelers on the money line. So we got Steelers on the money line and Parlay Pete's NFL 6-pack and in Leaves 3. Hey, Parlay Pete, it's election day. We'll be back next week to discuss the results and whatever fallout comes from that, man. Enjoyed it. Actually, I'll hit you up to see what you're doing for football on Sunday, because I may shake a little leg down there and we can watch the ball together.
Let's do it.
All right, dog. I'll holler at you, man.
All right.